the exodus from Korea, the dramatically increased rate of emigration from Korea during the past 5 years now, is reason for alarm. It is alarming. But I think there are some good things about it. Now, of course, it's mostly the upper middle class that emigrates. The poor don't have money to emigrate, or it's impossible. It's the upper middle class that emigrates, or send their children abroad for education. And this is remarkable. The number of students studying in America especially, but Australia and New Zealand too, and England, and elsewhere for that matter, is compared with the population of Korea as a whole, not very high. But compared with the seen within the framework of the upper middle class is alarmingly high. That's a high percentage of the upper middle class, the sons and daughters of doctors and lawyers, especially, who are studying abroad. That is alarming. And the children, and also the parents emigrate too. They want to live abroad, live especially in the USA, for reasons that this article suggests. More space, because South Korea is a crowded country. The life pace is hectic. I think they will find a hectic life pace in most American cities, certainly the big ones. That's kind of interesting. And I wonder if the apartments are cheaper in the large cities in the U.S. than in Seoul, but possible, or Busan. I don't know. But the consolation in all this, I think, is that most of these people, I assume, I don't know percentages and I would like to, but most of these people who study abroad or go abroad for a year or two return to Korea. And they bring with them an awareness of the world elsewhere, the newest ideas, a kind of vision maybe even of what Korean society should be like, and energy, intelligence and energy. And this, I suppose, is a good thing for South Korea. Educated people who have been educated not only in Korea. Now, this whole phenomenon forces us to focus on the Korean education system. Its strengths, its weaknesses. I know that's not the topic now, but that's where all this leads. Why do many of these people go abroad? For education. This article also mentions the political disarray, very good, at present in South Korea. But most people are concerned more about education. And this leads people to consider the failings of the Korean university system, because that's where the failures are most glaring. In international contests at the high school level, math, Korea number 1, maybe number 2. Science, Korea number 1, maybe number 2. In the whole world, the US number 7, number 13. Now, how is it that Korean secondary schools produce these stars, these academic stars, but afterwards these people or their classmates then go to Korean universities, and the Korean universities all rank pretty low, including our beloved Seoul American University? What happens? I've analyzed this with some people, and I think everyone probably agrees. One problem in the university system is you don't flunk people out. People stay. There's no fear of flunking out. Stay for 4 years, get a degree, move on. There is no incentive, or very few of the students have much incentive to do well. Only those students who want to go to graduate school will do well. And the medical students, they will do well, they must. And the law students, they exist in a very competitive atmosphere. Some other fields too. But I'm afraid to be competitive, the universities must threaten students with expulsion if they do badly. But this is an economic question, because it costs a lot of money to have an administration that keeps an eye on students, tells them, you're out, replaces them with other people. I think in the end this may be a money issue. A second aspect, of course, is a kind of burnout that students experience after the Sunung. They have to work so hard to do well on the Sunung that many simply have no energy or ambition left after they arrive at university to do very well. And also they discover social life and all the cliches that happen here. But these problems, the non-competitiveness or the relatively low degree of competitiveness that's found in the universities, until that's corrected, then the universities will remain mediocrities. That's what most people with whom I've spoken say anyway. So this exodus is partly an attempt to get a better education, including an education in English, at foreign, especially American universities, because the universities are much better, the facilities are better, the standards are much higher. Until Korean universities raise their standards, and they can only do that by threatening to expel people who do not perform, there will not be a change in basically, people say, the mediocrity of Korean universities. Just a thought. Consider it and debate it, please.